Coach?
Sam, you're not afraid to overstate the obvious. You ask the most obvious questions. That's why I like you.
Well, here's another one. You said you wanted to step up. You want to challenge their pride, step up to the competition. Is it fair to say they did that today?
Yeah, I think it's pretty obvious how we respond, especially when they throw up 3 in the first inning. An average team or a team without leadership would just roll over right there and be like, oh, here we go again. But we find a way. We kept scratching and clawing, and so many guys had so many great games. There was a ton of heroes today in the gold jerseys.
Talk about scratching and clawing. Late in the game, you called on Ben to bunt and advance the runner. He actually hit, and then he got another big double in the end. How does it feel to have a bench that's so reliable, I guess?
That's the reason we use those guys so much early in the season, because you never know when you need them with the game on the line. So Ben's had some big hits for us, and to come in and lay down a bunt, beat it out right before Dane's 3-run double. And then Hussey, too. You know how many times Hussey bunted in West Virginia high school baseball? 0. I can promise you that. But when I called him up there, I said, Grant, we got to get that guy to third base. You think you could lay a bunt down here? He said, heck yeah, I can lay a bunt down. And we didn't end up scoring there, but that's just what this team's all about. No matter what kind of game you have individually, how can you not feel good about being a Mountaineer today?
Do you have a plan to work the back into your bullpen so early in the game? Was that just kind of like in your workbook, I guess?
No, those 3 guys that pitched, Chase and Trey and Noah, hadn't pitched this weekend. They were all fresh. We couldn't stand there and let them score 5 or 6 before we brought those guys in. So they all did an unbelievable job. I think Chase threw more pitches than he has all season. Trey probably did the same thing. And when we got here to the field today, Noah wasn't even here. He called in sick today and said, I don't think I can make it. And we got some medicine to him and let him sleep. I said, dude, we're not going to need you. This is a 1 o'clock game. We're not going to need you till at least 3. So you can sleep till 2 as far as I care. And I looked up, and there he was. I didn't even know he was here. But then what a great way to end it with a guy who didn't even plan on coming to the field today.
When did you find out he was here?
I looked up right before the game started. I looked up, and he was standing out there with the pitchers.
You mentioned there was a lot of heroes today. Any bigger hero than Leonard?
I mean, we had to shuffle the lineup to try and get extra bats in there today, and Dane's been swinging it pretty good, and normally with a right-handed pitcher, Dane would catch, McGuire would DH, and we don't have a left-handed option. So in order to get Holbrook and Blasek in the lineup together, Dane has to play third base. So he hasn't played much over there this year, but he's played great for us. And yeah, so many heroes. He was definitely one of them. And Abernathy doing what he did, getting 2 hits. We had 7 hits out of the bottom 4 spots in the lineup today, which we desperately need to do.
I'm pretty sure all 8 runs came out of the bottom of the lineup as well, at least driving them in. Can you speak to more of what the bottom of the lineup did today for you?
They won the game. The bottom of the lineup and the bullpen won the game against one of the best teams in the country. So, if we play like that, and I told them before the game, I was like, Texas is good, man. It's one of the best teams in the whole country. This is an unbelievable opportunity to beat a good team. Just like the University of Charleston come up here, and everybody thought we were crazy for playing them, and it's a 1-run game, but they had an unbelievable opportunity to beat a good team. How hard did they play that day? And we went into this game saying, hey, we're just like they were. We've got an unbelievable opportunity to knock off one of the top 10 teams in the United States. And in order to do that, you got to play a good game. And our guys brought energy and played a great game.
Coach, Leonard comes in from Virginia Tech at the beginning of the season, so I didn't know, how much you really kind of knew about him. But you obviously have learned a lot throughout the season. What have you learned about him, and what kind of guy is he?
He's one of the toughest kids ever. I didn't know this at the time, but he was a hockey player growing up, and I've got a fondness for hockey players, And had I not known that, I probably could guess that because of the way he is. He's probably facing some sort of surgery when the season's over on something that's dinged up. He's playing all banged up all the time, but doesn't even care. He's just out there trying to represent this university that he knew nothing about a year ago at this time.
Going back to Noah for a second, what's that show the rest of this team when a guy who's obviously sick, I'm sure that they knew he was sick, does come to the ballpark and puts in a performance like that in a big spot?
Noah's not a rah-rah guy. He doesn't say much, but that just screams leadership, Who cares how I feel? If I can win the game for the Mountaineers, who cares if I've got a sore throat or if I'm on antibiotics or whatever. I'm just going to do what I can to represent the state and all the people. What a great crowd. They were into it. It was a beautiful day. Couldn't have scripted it better.
Coach, going back to your pitching, when you have a guy like Chase Smith going in early, is he on a pitch count or are you just going until he's no longer effective?
He was on a pitch count. It was about 400. Yeah, he was going to stay out there, same as Braithwaite. They were going to stay out there until they were out of gas, because beyond Noah, then we got to start throwing guys who hadn't thrown as much. So we had to, didn't intend for Chase to come in that early, but when he came in there, I said, "Here you go, man." First inning, he says, "First time in my career I pitched in the first inning, I think." I said, "Go ahead and throw a CG. We'll count it as a CG if you can finish this thing." But he did his job, man. It's to get out of there, only giving up the third run in the first inning, and they had one of their best hitters at the plate. If that guy hits a 3-run homer or a 2-run double, it's a whole different game. So all those relievers did an unbelievable job.
Coach, you had waited for a spark all weekend. I'm just kind of curious. I mean, you're sitting at the end of the dugout when Dane hits that liner down the first base line. What's your initial reaction and watching the play? Is it?
It was an 0-2 count too.
Right.
He had thrown 2 fastballs in, and then I was a little bit worried about him chasing the slider in the dirt, but they threw another fastball. And good thing this field's 90 degrees instead of 89 degrees, because that would have been a foul ball. So couldn't have come at a better time.
Well, going back to the transfers, when fans see a list of new players, transfer reliever is probably not the guy they look at first, but Trey has turned out to be one of the most effective players on this team. Could you sense that?
Yeah, this was transfer portal university today, who started Bravo, brought Chase in, brought Trey in, and Dane was the hero. So the 4 guys we got out of the portal all had a big impact on the game today. So that dang portal, as much as I hate it, it's good for something.
Anything else, guys?